This chart right here is honestly super important if you want to look deeper into this, and you can make a lot of money from this if you are right. I think I found an opportunity here, a diamond in the rough potentially. A company at a 30 million market cap, trading at way beyond 52-week lows. It was at a highest, we're trading at 20 cents. I will unveil what this company is in a moment and what problem they are solving. But real quick, this chart right here, this is a little report by the EPA going over the potential PFAS destruction technology. So this chart right here goes over supercritical water oxidation, and as you can see, it is the best way to destroy PFAS. I initially thought this is like filtering PFAS, but no. I'm gonna go over what this technology is soon. But this tech doesn't filter water. It obliterates, contaminates at a molecular level. Literally gone. No filters, no toxic, no residue, no incarceration, just gone. Filtering PFAS. If you don't know what PFAS is, you may have heard of forever chemicals. This is the scientific term, I guess, for it. And it's used in everything, in non-stick pans, coats, in your water bottles, food wraps, water-resistant stuff, in so many things. It's a big problem in the world right now. Your grandparents had a problem with asbestos, parents with lead. Today's generation, PFAS is the problem. And there really is almost no solution. Only one solution, and it is really, really just on the cusp of breaking out right now. So we're going to go over what that is. The solution is really this. It's supercritical water oxidation, or SCWO for short. Honestly, that's a horrible acronym. Yeah, so the problem is PFAS. It is forever chemicals. You actually have them in your body. You eat, you consume a credit card's worth of plastic every week. I'm not making this up. You can look this up. A credit card's worth of plastic in your body every week. You have a lot of PFAS, and we're only getting more and more of these forever chemicals, so it needs to stop. So who is behind stopping it? Oh, first of all, what are the downsides of it, right? Links to cancer, infertility, liver issues, and honestly way, way more. And you may have heard of this, or maybe not, but it is becoming a bigger and bigger trend. And what's important is that the EPA has some new regulations, some very strict here, has dropped some of the most aggressive PFAS rules ever in April of 2024. So soon, the drinking water standards, for the first time, the US is requiring public water systems to test 6 key PFAS compounds, enforcing limit to just 4 parts per trillion. That is insanely small, ChatGPT says. And honestly, that is, I can't even imagine 4 parts per trillion. I don't even know how they measure that. I know usually, you measure in like 100, 200 parts per billion or something. 4 parts per trillion is absolutely small. So this is literally just getting rid of PFAS is what they want. And the disposal rules, so wastewater sludge containing PFAS. Okay, so what this is all talking about is they don't want it to be disposed. It has to be like obliterated, which is what this technology is doing right now, and what they're is currently working on is incineration, but they want to ban that. And they want to just completely destroy it because PFAS may be released in toxins in the air, also in the ocean, and it ends up in our fish, and we eat that, right, in all our seafood. So this company is completely obliterating it. Now, who is this company? They are called 374 Water. And actually, interestingly enough, the technology is called supercritical water oxidation, short for SCWO, and their ticker symbol is SCWO, which I just love that they have, the ticker is the name of the solution. And as you can see, it did peak at a high of almost $7. We're trading at a very, very low, all-time low, almost here at 20 cents. It was like just at 18 cents, but whatever. Very low, 30 million market cap, and we're going to go over why this company has a great solution. Now, just to mention, the EPA knows about this company. As you can see here, they mention them. They mention these 4 companies. Now, they're all private. 374 Water is the only public company you can invest in. And honestly, I think they're also the best one here from a standpoint of getting PA or government contracts, because some of these other ones are just not For example, honestly, this is the best one I think that might compete with 374 Water, but they're based in Denmark, and I actually do like what their company is, and I kind of like their slogan here, because water is super critical. I like this image here, just briefly sums up, you can see before SCWO, this looks like oil or something, and this looks like some, I don't know, I guess some sludge or something. And then, as you can see, it becomes clean, filtered. I don't know if it's drinkable water, but at least, water you can use in other places, right? But yeah, let's just jump back into a bit of what their solution is. So, their solution is quite literally boiling to, I guess, a certain temperature. Now, obviously, this costs a lot in energy, but I guess they created a solution that really works. They have a working plant. They're the only company that has a real working plant in Orlando, and just now in June they opened in Orange County. We're going to go over that in a minute, but what I really want to go over is they're trading at a 30 million market cap, and they have here a $1.8 billion backlog. That is insane. 600 million from municipal, 300 million from federal, 280 million from industrial, and this is only going to be growing. What is this backlog? What does it mean? It means these governments, all these municipalities want to use their product and basically, I guess, sign LOIs, but they just can't deliver yet. They need to, deliver and build the plants. So let's go over a little bit about where they're at and the downsides here. So right now they only have 2 plants, one in Orlando and the second one they just opened in Orange County, which it seems like it's not going to be operational and making money until September, and they are running pretty low on cash flow, 5 to 6 months. So, but I don't think that this is a major concern. As you can see, first of all, the 2 plants are actually operational. They're the only ones working. No other competition is doing. Government is going to, back them up. The downside here is they're going to have to be forced to dilute more, which they actually have like $15 million that they can kind of dilute shareholders in and get more cash. So they're actually quite good for a long time if they want, but that would not be ideal for us shareholders. Get in more depth, which actually they're cash flow positive. They're 7 million in cash, but they have like 2 million in liability, so they're at about 5 million cash flow positive. A bailout would not be great, but they have potential to get government funds, to get grants actually rather. And just to see here real quick, they're the best solution. Other companies are working on different solutions, as you can see, all these different ways, but they are not as effective, and they're the only commercial SCWO in the US. There are some other SCWO companies, but none of them are actually commercial and operating like them. So let's just quickly go over here some of this stuff I like. All right, so as you can see, it destroyed, and it is classified as one of the most promising technology. The EPA recognizes them, and they're solving for, it's not even just water, right? Firefighter foam is very, very well known for having PFAS. That's going to be very bad, after, people live in the area, or, even for the firefighters themselves. Honestly, I don't know what sludge is, but if we get into, the numbers, we are talking about here $5 to $7 billion market cap is their TAM, and they have a $1.8 billion LOI. Now, I know I'm bouncing around here a lot because there's kind of a lot of information to discuss about them, but they only have 2 units. If they get to, based on some basic numbers here, the 2 units will make 2 to 3.5, let's say 4 million after some scaling up in per year. The 2 units right now, let's say, will make them 6 million a year. They're trading at a $30 million market cap. As they scale to more and the model is already proven, then this is extremely bullish. Now, I don't know where exactly is it that I highlighted, but there is one part here that gives me a lot of hope, because where is it? Okay, let's read ChatGPT's honest take. If your use case is municipal sludge, industrial waste, and firefighter foam, which they are the best at doing, SCWO is the only method that's both EPA backed and commercially deployed. 374 Water isn't just a maybe, they're ahead of the pack with real world units in Orlando and Orange County, a reoccurring revenue model, which we haven't spoken about, destruction as a service, which honestly is such a cool word, government friendly positioning with the DoD, EPA, and AFFF cleanup. That is a firefighter foam, which has a bunch of PFAS in it. These individual entities all have, here, let's break it down, all have different grants in the billions and billions of dollars worth. Okay, these are actually just the TAM for the markets. If we go over here, oh, by the way, here to mention, as you can see, there are some of these other companies, but 374 Water is the only commercial one, and then the only other one that actually is kind of like working, I guess, has limited international deployments is the problem though, will be that Aquadren one, but they're in Denmark. And as you can see, well, I'm not going to go over this. If you want, you can pause, but I think 374 Water is the best, solution, and honestly, they're the only stock that you can invest in at the moment. So my favorite line actually is from ChatGPT's honest take right here. Their biggest risk isn't the tech, because they've literally proven it works. It's business execution, cash burn, scaling, and deal making. I mean, this is great. This is a technology that the government wants, is getting regulated. We actually need this, and there's only one company solving this. Their market cap is absolutely tiny in a TAM that's worth billions, and this is the only company that has the tech. They just need to execute on the business. I mean, what's so hard about that? I mean, it is hard. Elon always talks about scaling production is the most difficult thing, right? Prototypes are easy, but they actually have working product and it's actually commercialized. Now, I guess it's just a matter of scaling their plant. So I'll briefly explain what their model is, destruction as a service, this interesting revenue model. Instead of selling, a $5 million plant to a municipality, which is expensive and going to cost them a lot, they can just pay a subscription service. And basically 374 Water, I guess are going to upfront the cost of building the units there. So that's the big cost, I guess, and kind of the reason maybe the stock's been, I guess, going down a lot until, now they just proven all this works. The first plant just went operational, 6 months ago, and the second one is going soon. Don't quote me on that first one. They just started. I'm not too sure on the revenue on it too. It says their estimated revenue is 200 to 400,000 a month. But what they're doing is they're collecting revenue, and 3 to 4 million a year rather than selling for 5 to 10 million a whole plant. And as they scale, as they scale, obviously that's going to be big business because people love, subscription model businesses. I mean, look at a bunch of the big Fortune 500s. They're all, subscription services. And on top of all this, as efficiency gets better in energy, and people realize that this is the only solution, and their model is, it's viable because you can easily, it's pretty cost effective. And also, I really like that their technology was it's continuous. So versus some of the competition, imagine you have to have a batch of, let's just say stuff go into this, I haven't even shown you their website, into this container, and then you filter it out. In this case, you don't filter it out, you destroy it or obliterate it, right? And then you move that batch. Theirs is not by batch, theirs is continuous. So, it's imagine just water's flowing and it gets filtered, and boom, it just, it keeps going. I will say their website is shit. Their stock has been shit, but this is the only technology that works, and I love finding companies like this. This is a diamond in the rough. If this does work, this does work. If they do scale and they're able to keep up with, not going under, they have until right now, about February of 2026 of cash flow. Really depends on the numbers and how you look at it. It could be up until Q3 of 2026, but if you lower the number of 500,000 at the pace they're at with one plant, I believe, is until February 2026, but they have a second plant coming. They have 15 million that they can dilute and, keep living, and honestly, that'll just make the stock go lower. But honestly, how much lower can you go? 5 million in potential federal grants. That will be crazy if they do get that in October of 2025. If they do get that, the stock is soaring. Let's just say that. The stock will probably soar. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is just pretty early. 30 million market cap, even if it goes to 20 million, 10 million, 5 million, yes, you'd probably be losing money. But at one point, when this thing goes to billions of dollars, if that is possible, this can be really, really crazy. Their grants, okay, let's just quickly look here at the grants. EPA possibly 2.4 billion in grants they're looking at. DoD 2.1 billion in grants and 9 billion in IRA and BIL. I'm not too familiar with what all this is, but looks like they are well positioned. It isn't likely to get the check directly, but when a city, base, or utility gets federal funds, they can use that to hire 374 Water to build the SCWO capacity. Yes, so I mean, they're well where they're going with this. I'll leave it at that. I think you can do your own due diligence. This is the first time I'm talking about this company. I'm going to be learning more and showing you a little more. I actually wanted to show you here. I looked at this company a few days ago when it was at 16 days. So 3 days ago they had 2 job openings and now they have 1. So they are actively hiring, and that is always a good sign to me when I see a company is hiring. That means they're definitely working on the future. They're not looking to go under. If they're hiring, they are, it looks like this is for the Orlando plant. That is also a big part of the cost of the revenue, the subscription revenue model. All that is not obviously profit because, there is a lot of operating cost. But as we said, the biggest risk here isn't tech, it's business execution. And I like that. High risk, high reward stock for sure. But if this works, if they get some grants and they scale, this thing is going to make you so much money. Well, if you invest in the right time. Anyways, if you like this company, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to engage with me, I'm actually usually on a Discord actively. I'll leave a link to that in the comments. Anyways, till next time, stay thinking, question everything, and peace the fuck out.